Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you're listening around the world. A very warm welcome from London in the UK. Here is today's news about electric cars and the future of transport. And I go through every EV article online, so you don't have to. My name is Martin Lee, and this is your EV News Daily for Thursday, the 19th of April, 2018. First of all, a few mentions of people I've been chatting away with online and things over the last couple of days. Hi to Chris Ramsey from Plug-in Adventures, if you follow him on Twitter or watch his YouTube videos. And we both noticed that Nissan over the weekend, Nissan Electric, the specific account for Nissan Electric, put a teaser up on Saturday saying big announcement coming Sunday. And then what they actually put online was a new TV ad they'd made, which is amazing. But we both got very excited thinking, what's it going to be? Long range new Nissan Leaf, maybe a Nismo. But no, it was simply a case of on Sunday, Nissan saying, hey, made a new TV ad for America. What do you think of it? Not the big announcement we were hoping for, but nice to chat to him on Twitter. Hi to, as well on Twitter, someone who uses the name Alexa EV. Been having a good few chats about electric cars and loving their posts about chargers and things. Hi to Simon in New York, who listens every day. Sent some cracking suggestions about some interviews that we can do on future shows. Thank you, Simon. And hello to Isabel Connor from Sacramento, who says, I heard you mention Patreon recently. I would happily support your show as I listen every day. If you ever decide to have supporters, can I ask you put your shows on SoundCloud so I can use the SoundCloud app? Yes, Isabel, well, thank you so much for your support. I love having all of the podcasts out there for free at the moment, at least, and certainly the archive. I love having it just all out there for anybody to use as a resource or entertainment, or if you like the podcast, like to go back and listen to some old ones, look through the topics, and you might have missed something. So I'm not a huge fan of locking things down and making people pay for the latest thing or just being available a few days before only on Patreon. But if we ever do something, and it won't be locking things away, but if we ever do something, I'll let you know. I'm also investigating SoundCloud following your note. I need to get my head around it, and hopefully I can do what you ask. On to the news, and coming up today, an electric car fit for a king, and Electrify America solving your range anxiety. But first of all, Elon Musk sent an email to all staff at Fremont and Gigafactory 1, I think actually highly likely to everyone inside Tesla. I'm going to read you some highlights in case you haven't seen the email, and then I'll offer a little bit of commentary at the end. So this is Elon's email. First, congratulations are in order. We have now completed our third full week of producing over 2,000 Model 3 vehicles. The first week was 2,020. The second was 2,070. And we just completed 2,250 last week, along with 2,000 Model S and X vehicles. Starting today at Giga and tomorrow at Fremont, we will be stopping for 3 to 5 days to do a comprehensive set of upgrades. This should set us up for Model 3 production of 3,000 to 4,000 per week next month. Another set of upgrades starting in late May should be enough to unlock production capacity of 6,000 Model 3 vehicles per week by the end of June. Any Tesla department or supplier that is unable to do this will need to have a very good explanation why not. Model 3 production at Fremont will move to 24/7 operations. This means that we will be adding another shift to general assembly, body and paint. Our car needs to be designed and built with such accuracy and precision that if an owner measures dimensions, panel gaps and flushness, and their measurements don't match the Model 3 specs, it just means that their measuring tape is wrong. I have asked the Tesla finance team to comb through every expense worldwide, no matter how small, and cut everything that doesn't have a strong value justification. All contracting companies should consider the coming week to be the final opportunity to demonstrate excellence. Any that fail to meet the Tesla standard of excellence will have their contracts ended on Monday. Communication should travel via the shortest path necessary to get the job done, not through the chain of command. Any manager who attempts to enforce chain of command communication will soon find themselves working elsewhere. Always pick common sense as your guide. If following a company rule is obviously ridiculous in a particular situation, such that it would make for a great Dilbert cartoon, then the rule should change. And that was the end of Elon's email. The whole email, by the way, much, much longer. Those are the highlights, in my opinion. If you want to read the whole thing, the full article is on an Electric website. The full email, rather. It was released outside of trading hours, and some internet commentators say it's more of a press release passed off as an internal email apparently leaked. Well, you can make your own mind up and decide if that conspiracy theory is true. I would say that 6,000 Model 3s per week is more than double their current rate, although that is a stretch goal. 5,000 is the minimum. It's also clear that I think quality is important, and I've seen how many forums and tweeters went on from picking on how bad some of the Tesla fit and finish was. Admit it, it is pretty bad in places. I'm not bashing Tesla, but it's not up to some other standards. Then it became a running joke. Then it became something which I've noticed over the last few weeks became widely regarded as just fact. And people were just using it very factually. Oh yeah, Tesla Model 3, great car, will change the world eventually, but fit and finish stinks. And I think that probably stings if you're Elon Musk and if you're Tesla. And so quality from his email is becoming the focus. And you can see how they just want to turn up quality. Finally, profitability is interesting. There was always going to be a day when the spending had to come into check, and that day was yesterday. From now on, it looks like they've built up enough momentum to start to pick off the spending which maybe isn't crucial. Now, they've thrown money at so many things. Some things worked and some things didn't. And for many years, they've been throwing money at Tesla, and it's built up a head of steam now. And it's interesting that yesterday was the day that he chose to say, enough's enough, and we're going to start watching every cent that we spend. Right, moving on, and next up, the Jaguar I-Pace is fit for royalty. I'm serious, literally. Clarence House is the office of Prince Charles here in the UK, and they tweeted a video, really short, 10 seconds at max, earlier today of Prince Charles being driven to the Science Museum in London. In the middle of the police outriders on motorbikes and his security detail with their guns was Prince Charles in a brand new Jaguar I-Pace. So well done to the Jaguar PR team. You could say that the I-Pace is fit for a king, except he's not, because her Madge doesn't seem to be going anywhere anytime soon. God bless you, ma'am. Well, a quick history lesson for our next story. Here in Europe, the punishment for VW and dieselgate was a simple software update to the affected cars. I know. I had a Golf Blue Motion when dieselgate happened, and it had to go back to the dealer, and I was very grumpy with the dealer owner. We literally had no laws to punish the company for doing what they did. So actually, by the letter of the law, VW did nothing wrong here in Europe. In America, a very different story, with cars being brought back from owners and a massive financial penalty, amongst many other things. Part of that financial penalty being VW setting up Electrify America. It was the organisation to populate the US with public EV chargers. Well, we just heard a lot more about Electrify America. Volkswagen AG and Electrify America told us that it has selected several suppliers, including Switzerland's ABB, who sponsor Formula E, and South Korea's Signet EV, to install over 2,000 high-speed EV chargers in the US by the end of next year. Reports Auto News, the chargers will be installed at 484 charging stations across North America. Electrify America said the chargers will deliver 20 miles of range per minute of charging, 7 times faster than current chargers. Now, VW has agreed to spend $800 million in California alone, a total of $2 billion nationwide on the infrastructure. Well, the charging systems will offer the first ever cooled cable chargers. They offer from 150 to 350 kilowatt DC fast charging, says Electric Cars Report, and a level 2 AC charger is going to be offered at the majority of the charging stations to accommodate plug-in hybrids and non-DC capable EVs. All charging stations will offer a CHAdeMO 50 kilowatt plug. Wow. The chargers will have a new, intuitive and informative 15-inch touchscreen display to provide a simplified plug, pay, charge, go experience, they say. Interesting. All of these chargers are going to they haven't gone for one over the other like in Europe. Here, the networks and the charging networks being backed by the German car makers, not keen on putting CHAdeMO plugs on or CHAdeMO plugs. Whereas in America, They are. Interesting. Well, an ABB press release sent to us added this. Electrify America's plan to place chargers on its highway routes at intervals of no more than 120 miles or 200 Ks means that drivers can be confident they'll reach their destinations. ABB's Terra HP chargers are compatible with both CCS and CHAdeMO DC fast charging standards, enabling drivers to buy the electric vehicle of their choice with the confidence it will work at all charging sites. Well, talking of charging, how about charging your car, which then puts power back to your house? Vehicle-to-grid technology has been the holy grail for many EV owners, but not possible. It's been in operation in countries like Japan, but not here in the UK until now. One of the big energy companies, OVO Energy, well, not one of the biggest, but they're certainly sizable, held a press conference in London yesterday morning to publish their move into V2G. They're going to be working with Nissan, and they start a 2-year project. It'll allow Leaf owners to sell power back to the grid at times of high demand, like in the evening when everyone's cooking their dinner. Well, the charger to enable it was part of a suite of products announced by OVO, which also included a 7-kilowatt smart charger for your EV, a heat dynamo for optimizing your home storage heaters, and a home battery pack. Now, Alpha website reports the vehicle-to-grid charger is a part of that wider picture. The 6-kilowatt charger and discharge power rating will be fitted to your home, and OVO will then be able to power up your vehicle and discharge it back to the grid when they need to. In theory, you should be able to buy power during times when energy is cheap, and if you're going by the half-hour price, well, it can go down to zero. It has in the past, I think, but roughly the lowest price you'll pay is about 5 pence per kilowatt hour here in the UK, and then in the evening when it can go way up and we have to start turning on dirty coal plants and things for the peak, you can sell it back during peak demand. OVO's chargers and batteries to adapt the shifting demands on the grid, as well as its customer usage, remotely connects their devices across a distributed power grid. Effectively, it turns all those thousands of batteries that you have at home and all those thousands of EVs into a virtual power plant. The idea is, with the technology they've developed called VCharge, your home's power generation will be automatically responsible to respond to the different stresses it's under and adjust it so that you get the power when it's cheap and that your EV is always charged up in the morning when you need it. Right, moving on to Buick. And earlier this week, Buick unveiled its Inspire SUV concept. They say good for 370 miles on a charge and fast enough for any normal driver, I think, not wanting to lose their license at least. 4 seconds, 0 to 60. But that's a concept. Given how the Buick brand is far more popular in China than America, you definitely won't be buying one soon in North America because it probably won't be sold there. And it's a concept anyway. But that's the great thing about concepts. They really can be anything when it comes to specs. You can have them running on magical fairy dust with a flux capacitor, and you never have to prove it. However, a new Buick, which does exist, is called the Velite 6. It's the plug-in hybrid coming in September, and you guessed it, China only. The engine's a 1.5-litre combustion engine coupled with a motor, and expect lots of crossover with the Chevrolet Volt technology to underpin that. There will be a full BEV from Buick, China only, in 2019. What is certain, though, is that they are building in wireless software over the air updates into their new cars. Good. I've been saying for a long time, there is no excuse now for any new car to be sold anywhere not to have over-the-air updates. It is absolutely bonkers how outdated cars are. When you think about the computer that sits in the palm of your hand every day on your mobile phone and what's possible with that, the idea of driving your car back to a dealer to have its software updated is so old-fashioned. Of course, the dealer does get to try and sell you more things while you're there, I suppose. Anyway, also on this new Buick, the cell phone becomes, or mobile phone, becomes the car key. Love it. Right, I'd love to spread the word about electric cars. If you can, share this with somebody who might be interested, and you can listen to every previous episode of the podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, YouTube, TuneIn, Stitcher, and the blog evnewsdaily.com. Remember to subscribe, which means you haven't got to think about downloading the show each day. Plus, you get it first and free and automatically. It would mean a lot if you could take 2 minutes to leave a quick review on whatever platform you download the podcast on. on the Amazon Echo. We have a skill called EV News Daily to play you the news as part of your flash briefing in the morning. And come and say hi on Facebook, LinkedIn and Twitter. Just search EV News Daily. Have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you tomorrow.